What's going on here? Crazy long staring contest.
How long have they been going?
It's got to be close to an hour and a half.
Oh! So complete! What the fuck?
Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team, that is a dub! And how sweet it is! Oh, baby! This game had a lot of things sprinkled in there. A lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of weird. Let's get into it. Luckily, I didn't have to watch the NBC broadcast. I was able to watch the NESN broadcast. I know. Jack Edwards is a homer. It's part of the reason I like listening to him, because I like my team more than I like all the other teams. But I did not know I was going to be able to listen to NESN's broadcast, so I did initially listen to the pregame with NBC. Normally, I avoid pregame in general because I don't love what the NHL does with analysts. I think a lot of them are very dry and boring. It's just not my cup of tea. That's not a criticism to really what they do. It's what the NHL has decided that they want. We are no stranger to this league doing things the less fun way. But the game itself, you can't ruin that. And the refereeing was somewhat better, although a little tight in the beginning. But pregame, they kept bringing up the perfection line. And I know people hate the nickname. Well, some people do, and some people really like it. What I like about the nickname isn't that, oh, the line is perfect, which they kind of sometimes are. No, the nickname originates from Bergeron, I believe, where he was initially ranked as like the second or third most difficult player to play against. And it wasn't because of their perfection. It was because if you don't play with perfection, he takes the puck from you. That is what the first line did so much in this game. If you took the first 3 periods of this game, the Bruins did not deserve a win. Stop. Full stop. They did not deserve a win if you just took the first 3 periods. Now, did they deserve to go to overtime? That's debatable. But honestly, the game was even. I think the Caps had the better of us for most of it. Overtime? No, that was an ass kicking. That was an absolute ass kicking by the first and second lines. The third lines were a mixed bag, and then the fourth line was up and down, mostly down. There will be no changes to the lineup, and congratulations to Tuukka Rask for tying the franchise record with Jerry Cheever's most playoff wins by a goaltender. That's 53 wins for him. Now, it took him 8 extra games, which is fine, but when you compare Jerry Cheever's .902 save percentage to Tuukka Rask's .926, different eras, still pretty damn impressive. Here's the big thing, though. On the other end of the ice, Samsonov will make his first playoff start. Playoff debut. Anderson out for maintenance and probably performance. Not that he played bad. They just think Samsonov is a better goalie, which probably is true. Kuznetsov also back in the lineup for the Capitals. That's a scary boy. Caps fans hate him from what I can gather. I know there's some rumors about him in the locker room, him with COVID protocol, all that stuff. I don't follow the Caps close enough to have a real statement on that, unfortunately. I'm just picking up things from social media. Leave it at that. Now, before we start, just a quick note. I have a little hot take for you. It's not really that hot. So Chara, game 1, gets a towel thrown on his face from Ovi. Ovi's sweat towel. It was an accident. No one did it on purpose, right? But that's, not a good look. And then, in game 2, he kind of has a rough go of it at times. Kind of getting beat with speed, but it's okay. It's okay. He's fine. Game 3, he gets taken out during warm-ups. That's a bad look, too. All I'm saying is I don't think the guy's having fun. Clearly. I don't think he's having fun. And this isn't a slight on the Capitals organization. I think Chara spent so much time building an atmosphere that he wanted in Boston. He took the charge of all of that. That changing after how many years? 14, 15 years with the Bruins? Changing that and going to a new atmosphere, no matter what it is, it's got to be hard. I think after this year, Chara is done. I think whether the Caps go on to win a cup or not, I think Chara hangs him up. I think it's his final year. So that's my hot take right at the beginning of the episode. Not that hot, honestly. I think a lot of you will sit there and go, yeah, I could see it. He's 44, dumbass. Thanks. You didn't have to add dumbass in there, but yeah, I'm glad we agree. Puck drops, and there's a ton of space on the ice for both teams. Really weird to see. It feels like both of them started late. Now, obviously, it looked better on our side. We were getting some scoring chances. But when you sat back and went, man, everyone's able to make a crisp pass right now, and it's not because of their flying. It's because everyone's just giving each other a lot of space. 2.5 minutes in, though, we're going to go to the power play, which is a godsend because Samsonov, first playoff appearance, rookie goaltender, third goalie for them in this series. Pressure needs to come quickly. We cannot allow our advantage in net to be thrown away by not pressuring a potentially shaky goaltender early on. And in the power play we challenged him a bunch, and Samsonov was incredible. He was incredible this whole game. So much respect for the performance that this guy had. Just a devastating blow at the end, but just gotta respect the kid for what he put up. Those were not easy circumstances to jump into this one. 8 minutes in, and we will take a penalty, Riley with a high stick. Now we kill it, but unfortunately, 2 minutes later, we have a too many men penalty. We can't take those. You cannot take stupid penalties against this Capitals team. Stop it. Respect that team's power play. Respect that power play can sink your whole season. But we kill it. And then 3 minutes later, we will go on the power play, Char for a slash. And a minute into that, Carlson, again, his clearances have been weird, flings this bitch. It's a 5-on-3 for a minute. And it is the most disappointing part of the fucking game for me. 5-on-3 for 55 seconds, and we do not score off of it. Now, there was a close chance, but it didn't go in the net. They don't ask how, they ask how many. The momentum the Capitals gain off of killing a 5-on-3, you can't allow it. You can't allow it. Not only do they kill a 5-on-3, they kill the rest of the power play after that. That is brutal to allow that. 2:30 left of the period. Corrali will go for tripping. Now we do kill that. 0-0 to end the period. 6 combined minor penalties. You can't win that way. Now, of course, there was a lot of complaints on Twitter. I actually talked to Andrew of the Short Shift real quickly. Short Shift Pod, guys, check it out. Seriously. Stop doing yourself a disservice if you're not watching it. Listening to it. You know what I mean. I was talking to him, and I know playoff hockey is a different animal, right? And the rulebook changes for it. And he made a very good point and said that. He's like, I've always been told, and I've always watched, that this game changes. The rulebook changes come playoff time. The reason I can't sit there and go, man, the refs are overcalling this game, is because all season I have said call the rulebook. All season. I'd be a hypocrite. I would be a hypocrite at this point. Because every single call they made, even if it's borderline, was a correct call. I can't point any of those 6 out and go, that was bullshit. No, they were all good calls. So personally, did they overcall it and keep it tight? Sure. But I can't complain. Just me personally. Because I'd be a hypocrite at this point. But after the first, what's really frustrating is the 5-on-3. It's the glaring moment. It's a missed opportunity that if you lose this game, you go, there it is. That's where we lost that game, probably. And the second period starts, and what happens? What always happens in the second period? The Caps start strong, and the Bruins are flaccid. Except for Wagner, and this is going to be a mixed bag for Wagner, because personally, I don't want him in the lineup anymore, but he's trying to light a fire, and he starts throwing some massive hits. He is going for the throat of anyone he can find. Also worth noting, Riley had a bad pinch early in the second period, and Carlo breaks up a 2-on-1 beautifully. God, Carlo has been everything in this series. Again, McAvoy, Grizz, you're watching them do such explosive, amazing things. McAvoy's statistics are unbelievable. This guy is an animal. Carlo is silently being our second best defenseman. I know there's a lot of love for Grizz's offensive game, but I don't know. There's not a thing Carlo's doing. There's a couple bad turnovers, I guess, but for the most part, man, I really love what he's showing. 7 minutes in, and this series almost ended, and that is not an exaggeration, because Eller is already out. The goaltending's already shaky on the other side, although Samsonov was not shaky. But the situation is weird. Dowd takes a slap shot off the knee, right on the top of the knee. Brutal to watch. he goes down the tunnel. And in my head, I went, if he's out for the series and Eller's out for a few more games, this is over. Because I said in the beginning, the way the Capitals win is with their depth. Those guys are pivotal. And Dowd would show that by coming back and whooping our ass. That was almost the end of the series right there. I think most Caps fans would go, yeah, if we lost him for an extended amount of time, I just don't see it. And shortly after that, our dumb little rat, I can't believe he did it again. He always does this in the playoffs. He chooses one weird thing to do and then repeats it. He's like a thief that returns to the scene of the crime. It's a little mix-up after a play, and he goes and he just hooks the neck again of a Capitals player. And of course he gets tossed this time, 2-minute misconduct, all that stuff, unsportsmanlike. You can't do that against this Capitals power play! And we pay for it. This is just bad luck. Because I want to find whose fault it is, but McAvoy has the puck behind our net. It's crowded, but he should have been able to get this out, but he loses an edge and falls. Now, of course, when you see McAvoy has the puck with a little bit of space, you're taking off. You want to keep pressure. So Wagner already takes off on the PK to hopefully pin in the clear. Unfortunately, McAvoy falls. Puck gets to Mantha. Mantha feeds it to Ovi, who did not leave the zone, of course. Wagner can't catch up to him. Ovi just buries it on Rask across the slot. That is a lead on the power play for the Capitals. Marshy pays the price for an absolutely unnecessary penalty. I know you want to walk the line. I get it. But that's a stupid penalty after a whistle. You hooked a guy in the neck. Stop it. I just don't understand what's going through your head right there. And you know how lethal that power play is. That is not a veteran move. And I know Bergeron's on the bench going, I fucking told you. Stop it. Walk the line. The first period they called everything. They're gonna call that! Luckily, Marchand gets saved. But our own, hallelujah. It's an almost clear by the Caps in their defensive zone. And how many times have we said that? How many goals this series have been almost clears? These turnovers are brutal. But Miller with the hustle pokes the puck to Smith over the left dot. Smith, behind the back, just flings it to the slot. And there's Taylor Hall alone. 2 feet, sweeping in from the right side. 2 feet in front of Samsonov. Gets the puck. Spinorama. The delay, Samsonov goes too low, looks like he's trying to poke it away, and Hall roofs it. And by roofs it, I mean it doesn't hit the back of the net, it hits the roof of the net. Just a gorgeous, filthy, nasty, disgusting play by Taylor Hall. I think Bruins fans are starting to like this kid. I think they are. 1-1, it's a goal you're going to see on every highlight reel for the rest of the playoffs. And then the game really starts. Things get chippier. They get more intense, and there's a little bit of contact between Hathaway and Tuukka. Now, you know what I feel about Hathaway. I think he's a poor man's Tom Wilson. I think he's a dirty player. I do. I think Hathaway's got a bit of dirty on him. He comes in and gets Rask's side of the head. Mask comes off. Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with it. Now, did he avoid contact? No. But Coyle's behind him, gets enough contact on Hathaway to absolutely push him into Rask. Rask, helmet off, reacts by nailing Hathaway 4 times with the blocker. I'm okay with everything here. I'm okay with no calls here. I'm okay with this being a playoff scrum. That Hathaway comes through, there's contact, he was forced from behind. I'm okay with everyone's reaction to this play. 4 minutes left, and Hathaway goes for Marshy, goes low. It's an illegal bridge check, but no call. And immediately we get called for high sticking on Grizz. That's frustrating, but we kill it. So no harm, no foul. Puck don't lie. $1:45 left in the period. Should have been cleared. Just over and over, man. These turnovers. Pasta cannot handle a Coyle pass on the blue line. Does not get it out. Turnover machine. Hathaway corrals it. Sees Dowd flying into the slot. And just a heat missile-seeking bullshit, I don't know what I just said, right to Dowd. And Dowd just tips it. Doesn't even shoot, just tips it right past Rask. That is 2-1. That's another goal that you can't... What is Rask supposed to do about that? And it's another play where you look at Pasta and go, dude, handle the puck. That's supposed to be something you're good at. We haven't seen it this season at all outside of an early hot start for you. 2-1. End of 2. And we have taken 5 penalties. That is a glaring issue. But the third will start. And I didn't feel great about it, honestly. I know it's a 1-goal lead in the third. Like, we can do this. It didn't pass the smell test. 3:30 in. To the power play. We do nothing with it. But 11 minutes in to the power play. And this is one of 2 series-defining plays if the Bruins pull this out. If the Bruins win this series, there are 2 plays in this game where you go, that is a major reason why. Historically, you really like to be on that side of those. Dowd, who had an otherwise great game, again, took that off the knee, came back, had a goal, played really well. He takes down McAvoy behind the play. And sure, it's a little bit of a sell job by McAvoy. He does fly back, but he hooked him high and pulled. Puck wasn't anywhere near him. You can't do that. Power play time. And it was a messy one, but we got the job done. Marshy has an open net, misses the puck, bobbles on him, can't get it. Puck retrieval, though, and flings it over to Pasta, over at the dot. He flies it back up to the point. Krejci's got it, center point, flings it down to McAvoy on the right dot. He feeds Bergy in the slot. Bergy takes a weak wobbler, bumps into the air. Marshy bats it in. That is 2-2. Oh boy, tie game. Less than 10 minutes left in the third. Huge goal by our MVP. That has allowed me to forgive Marchand for the earlier penalty. He's offset himself now. The next 8 minutes to finish this game are all caps. We have to sweat it out. The Capitals did not want to go to overtime, which no one does in the playoffs. But I think the Capitals are aware of a stamina issue. It's not that they can't keep up. They certainly can. But their legs will get tired first. They're one of the oldest teams in the playoffs, and we have a couple young horses, especially on the defensive end, that will keep going at the same level for as long as it takes. And I think the Capitals are aware of it, and it was great motivation for them, but they could not beat Rask, and they had some close ones, man. Going into the first overtime, you don't feel good. You've watched them kick the shit out of you for 8 minutes after you tied the game. You have a fun little statistic. We did not take a 5-on-5 shot on goal the entire third period. You worry that we're the gassed ones, that we're the ones who can't keep up. And physically, yes, we're getting worn down. These guys are big and heavy, and they're beating the shit out of us for the most part. But you're worried. And then overtime starts, and if the first line's out there, the puck's in their zone. If the second line's out there, the puck's in their zone. If the third line's out there, there's a little bit of a mixed bag, but they're not getting scoring chances. If the fourth line's out there, it's complete mayhem. It is a dominant overtime period. We do not get anything going. There was a fun moment. Hathaway went for a hit on Marchand. He was going to light him up. It was going to be a good, clean hit. It really looked like it, but Marchand ducks him, so Hathaway gets bridged. Marchand was standing still, though, so they didn't call anything on him, which, I mean, to be fair, right? 4 minutes into the second overtime, Pasta gets a breakaway from a nice feed from Marshy. He can't finish. Straight out fucking misses the net. And gets tripped up and sent into the boards hard. Now, sure, sometimes we see this called. Oftentimes we see this called. Not in double overtime, guys. Relax. You're not getting that call too often in double overtime. He gets flung into the boards hard. He seemed okay, played more of the game, but it's something to watch. But then 2 minutes later, and this moment is the other play that I was talking about that is a series-defining play. Samsonov behind the net. It's just a dump in. He just collects it. He sees Schultz coming down, and it looks like he says something, and it looks like he gestures to him. And Schultz looks over his shoulder and sees Smith. But for some reason, there was a miscommunication. Samsonov goes back to the net, goes around the left side. Schultz gracefully just floats over to the puck. Smith, who has a huge motor, as we know, flies in, tears the puck away from Schultz. I actually don't even know if Schultz really got a handle on this thing. And flings it in. Just circles the net and flings it in. Samsonov a half second too late. And that's what Samsonov is going to be remembered for in this game when he played a brilliant game. I blame Schultz for this one more than anyone. Tough, though. That is tough. A tough pill to swallow for Caps fans. I would feel bad, obviously, if it wasn't against the Bruins. So that's a dub! That's a 2-1 series lead. And man, is this a close series. 3 straight overtimes. Just brutal shifts in momentum throughout each game. Ovi, after the game, smashes his stick over the boards and starts yelling. Now, it's hard to say whether he was yelling at Samsonov or Schultz. If it's Schultz, I'm fine with it. Schultz, he should have. He knows he screwed up, but he should get a absolute verbal beating after that one. Samsonov? If it's at Samsonov, no, not fair. Now, that rookie goaltender knows he fucked up in his first playoff start in double overtime. He knows. You, Ovi, are a top 3 goal scorer all time in a lot of people's books. You guys got shellacked both overtime periods. This one's a mirror moment. This one's a you look in the mirror. You can't blame anybody because you barely sniffed the net in overtime. Samsonov got you there. And I know I said last video that, well, the goalies, elite goalies, have to do the easy stuff and the good stuff. Like, and I get it. But screaming and rushing at your rookie goaltender, again, I'm not sure if it was at him or Schultz, but if it was, that's not really fair. Game notes. We deserved this win. Not in regulation. We probably deserved a loss in regulation, but we deserved it in overtime. The boys responded so well and absolutely careened down that ice all of overtime. A fun little tidbit here. We were dominant in the face-off dot for the first 2 games. And I mean, we were kicking their ass. And this is the first game we've lost the face-off battle. It is a huge difference. You saw so many momentum-building moments end with a bad face-off. A face-off loss in the offensive zone. That is something that I did not realize was going to be as heavy an advantage for us until this game where I went, wow, that makes such a difference. Hopefully we go back to winning those. Now, I know I mentioned the top 2 lines were really good. They were really good, especially in overtime. But there is a star player who continues to lack that pizzazz. And it's Pasta. And I'm not saying anything you probably don't know. Pasta's got to get it together, man. The turnovers are rampant. He's not finishing. He's not hitting open nets. He led our team in attempts. He was all over the ice, and he did improve as the game went on. But there's got to be more consistency from him. We got to see more. And like I said, if the depth is winning us games, great. But if we're depending on the depth, we're not winning the series. It's just not happening. The penalties are a red flag. If we continue to average 5 penalties a game, we will lose the series. I don't care about the lead right now. We will lose the series if we continue to take 5 penalties a game. Just, that's a fact. That's a fact. We can't keep up with their power play. And I know we both went 1 for 5, but one of the power plays looked really good, and the other didn't. Guess what? The Capitals' power plays looked pretty good. Our penalty kill looked pretty good, but their power play can fucking move that thing. Last 2 points. When our top line is on the ice with our top pair, so that's Marshy, Bergy, Pasta, and Grizz and McAvoy, when those 5 are on the ice together, we outchanced the Capitals 28-3. The fact that we're still going to overtime with that kind of domination from those guys, we're getting beat in other places. That's good enough, right? Like, that's what you want. But you got to start looking down the lineup. And the second line got way better as the game progressed. And the third line was a mixed bag. But the fourth line, needs a change. And it's weird. Because Wagner, I thought, played a pretty decent game. He really did. But there were a lot of moments where you go, you just took yourself out of the play, man. Like, he's banging bodies, which is what you want. But sometimes it's way too far away from the puck. Or even if it's on the puck, you can see the puck moving. You're like, now you have to spend 6 seconds trying to get back in the play after the hit. I want Kuhlman in for Wagner. I don't want Trent Frederick in this series. I've been very honest about that. And you guys can keep yelling about it. I don't want him. I don't think he's a bad player. I think next year we'll probably see some real nice improvement. I don't want him in this series. Corelli, I would actually keep in. Lazar, of course, I'd keep in. I want to see what Kuhlman looks like. I really do. Alright guys, that does it for me. Like, comment, subscribe as per the usual. Share it, maybe. Share it with some people. I should really say this in the beginning of the videos, but you know me. Anyway, the Bees. If we can take this home game, this next game, huge. I'm predicting a regulation finish, though. I sure am. And statistically, odds are on my side. Go Bees!